What's going on, good people of YouTube? It is me, Chavez, back with another Player Prop Talk live stream here on the channel. As always, I hope this finds you doing well and in good spirits. Happy Thursday to everybody. Hope your Wednesday went well. Hope you landed on some profit. New day, new month. Glad to be over July. Although I did go out with a bang on July. 3 winning slips yesterday in total. Nice little $375 profit combined yesterday. So that was nice. 2 slips on PrizePicks, 3 slips on Underdog, 1 clean sweep, and a couple of 2Xs. So add it all up, and I ended the month on a really strong note, although it wasn't enough to get me into the profit. But that's a great way to end the month and carry that momentum into a new month. That's exactly what I needed. That's exactly what I was looking for. All right, let's go. Let's get this going. 9:02 a.m. We started a little early. Well, I guess maybe we started on time today. Feels like we started early, but we're just getting right to it. Hashtag bless. As you know, tons of people die every single freaking day, die in their sleep. You didn't, you're awake, you're watching this. Hashtag blessed. Very very straightforward there. No, don't know too many things that are better than waking up unless you choose to play on better after waking up. And if you choose to play on better, sign up, use my QR code, match that first time deposit match up to $250. I get a little something of that. I get some better bucks, but you get way more. You get way more out of that than I do. But it is nice if you use my QR code as a referral. We'll be using props.cash today. We'll be using OddsJam Fantasy Optimizer to help us locate value across the industry on a few different pick'em sites. If you have any interest in signing up on OddsJam, use my promo code right there on the screen for 30% off your first month. We will be hopping on over to props.cash as well to dig into certain plays, to look into some of the data. Thanks25 is my promo code on there. 25% off your first month. Saving money and hopefully making money all at the same time creates a nice ROI. All right, let's go. Let's head on over to the OddsJam Fantasy Optimizer. Appreciate y'all being here this Thursday morning, first day of the month. I want to get it off to a good start today. What's good, Jay? What's good, JR? We need somebody else in the chat whose names start with J. You got J Marsh, you got JR. What about JRS? That'd be cool. Big ass fly in my damn apartment. Like it ate another fly. All right. PrizePicks Fantasy Optimizers pulled up on the screen. Got to be honest with you, Fantasy Optimizer, PrizePicks has been hurting for value early in the morning. It's been really difficult to build out a slip, 5 and 6 pick slips because of the lack of value. Now, when I say lack of value, I just mean the green squares that are being presented to us. You can still play whatever player prop you want, but the whole purpose of the optimizer is to locate the best value plays with the best chance to win. So if you start digging into some of these red squares and you get into the 51% chance to hit, 52% chance to hit, really you're not helping yourself out. So I find it easier just to come back to it in a few minutes to see if anything's changed. But it looks like we do have a few plays that we can look at. Charlie Morton, Max Meyer over 10 strikeouts. Nick Batum Nick Batum under points. Shea under assist. And then Shy over 20. I might want to play both of these dudes in the same lineup just to get a Shea and Shy in there. That's pretty cool. But Shy over 29 first 2 map kills. Those are 4 plays presented on underdog. If you want to dip into the red a little bit, you got the over 17.5 points for Dennis Schroeder, 18.5 on a DraftKings and BetMGM. So you're getting it at a nice line, lower line on PrizePicks. 3 data points on this one, 4 data points on this one. That's a really good line right there. Miguel Maya over 0.5 total bases. 6 data points here. Victor Wembanyama under his 20.5 points. Back-to-back games, he got you 18 points. Maybe 20 is that wall for him. Maybe he's not able to get over 20. So if you don't believe that he can get you over 20, then you like the under on his points. These games aren't until tomorrow. So if you put these Olympic basketball plays in your slip, just know it's going to hold up your slip from cashing until tomorrow afternoon. Charlie Morton over strikeouts. This correlates well with the combo, because if you think that Charlie Morton get you 6 strikeouts, which is the over on his individual line, then you got to like the over on this combo line. That's a nice way to correlate it. You just got to build out a couple of different slips. Let's see what's popping on Underdog. Underdog has been giving us more value as of late, been able to build out more slips on Underdog. So it's been my choice over the last week or so. Wemby is popping under points and rebounds. Yuki Kawamura under his 20.5 points and assists. There's another Wemby under. Wow, a lot of Wembanyama plays. I mean, under on PRA, under on PA, and then under on PR. Not the strongest lines in terms of support, but they're on this for a reason. Kostas Papanikolaou. Kostas Papa Nicolau. Papa Nicolau. Kostas Poppin' Lock'em. Kostas Snap, Crackle, and Pop'em is under 14.5 points and rebounds, 1 data point. Most of these are going to have 1 data point for now, and then as more books take action, then you'll see these numbers change up a little bit. But a lot of Olympic basketball player props. If you are Jones into play in basketball player props, Underdog is where you want to go in terms of value. Got a nice line here on Yuki under his 13 points. You got 3 different sites that are giving you much lower lines, so you'll take the higher one for the under. Willie Hernan-Gomez under his 6.5 rebounds. Nice lines here. Nice support. Got an esports play with Blame F under his 33 first 2 map kills. Got him at 31 on PrizePicks. And parlay play, that's a pretty decent size discrepancy. What you can do is play the under on Underdog and then play the over on PrizePicks and hope that he lands on 32. And that gives you the win on both sites. So as you can see, preseason football today. You want some football action? Preseason football today. We got Davis Mills over 89.5 passing yards. CJ Stroud will not touch the field in the preseason. So all the reps, all the starter reps will go to Davis Mills, I'm sure. Breonna Stewart over her point prop today. That's a nice line. A lot of data points. When's that game? Today. Okay, cool. Patty Mills over points. Patty Mills had a 2.5 3-pointer made prop that was getting a lot of juice for the under. And now he has a point prop of 15.5. He needs 16 to go over. So as you can see, just a ton of value on Underdog right now. All right. We're going to pop over to PrizePicks here in a second. Pull up the board. We have enough value on the board to make a PrizePicks lineup and an Underdog lineup. I'm just trying to get my PrizePicks page to load up. There we go. So I wanted to share these slips. I did share them in the Discord. Just the 2 slips that hit for me on PrizePicks yesterday. These were built out on Tuesday going into Wednesday. I used the Kevin Durant taco. But something I've been wanting to do and something that I just honestly forget, it's just not on the forefront of my mind, is try to middle that taco. So if you don't know what middling is, it's just playing 2 different lines and hoping that it goes right, it lands right on the middle. So you have a nice discrepancy with taco being reduced to 10.5 points, but his full game line was at 15 points. So taking the under on his 15 points, taking the over on his 10.5 points, hoping that he lands anywhere between 11 and 14. And that's exactly what happened today, or that's exactly what happened yesterday. He finished with 14, and just picking the right esports plays using Fantasy Optimizer and Odds Jam, that's what helped me cash out these 2 slips. I know sometimes we talk about taking the under on tacos because they're trash sometimes, but it's probably in our best interest to play the middle and play the over on the reduced line and then playing the under on the original line. And then therefore you have that opportunity to hit both. So that's what I did. And that's, we talked about my bankroll yesterday being very, very poor. And now it's back up over 240. So just like that, if you just stick to the process and build out slips, it's all ebbs and flows. So we're back on track today. We're back on track for our new month. What is going on, Big Icy? Your name doesn't happen to start with J, right? You're not is your first name J by any chance? Because we got 2 J's in the chat. So if by chance your name starts with a J, your birth name, I don't know, is your birth name Big Icy? Then that would give us, for the first time, I'm sure in my YouTube live history, we've had 3 J's back to back to back leave comments. Damn. All right. Well, maybe it'll happen at some point. All right. Let's build out a slip. Feel free to throw a play in the chat. We can look it up on props.cash, or if we find a play that we like on the optimizer, we can use props.cash to dig into it a little bit more and figure out why we like it. So we still have this Charlie Morton, Max Meyer, over 10 strikeouts. We got Elves Brenner, under 3 takedowns. Willie Hernan Gomez under his boards, Shea under assists, and Shy over 29. First 2 map kills. Davis Mills, we saw him on underdog. Okay, at 89.5 passing yards. PrizePicks has him at 97.5. He should get starter reps today, but it's preseason. He's a veteran. They don't need to see what they have in Davis Mills. It's not like they got to trot his ass out there because, you know, I don't even know if anybody is looking to trade for him aside from him just having another backup role on another team. I don't think he's a starter in the NFL. So maybe he does start the game, but maybe he doesn't play past the first half. And if that's the case, then, you know, maybe the under on these 97.5 yards makes sense. And then you can just middle that, play the over on underdog and play the under on PrizePicks and have him land anywhere between 90 and 97. He can get you 97 yards. As long as he doesn't get you 98, you're cashing. So that might be something we do today. JR says, I'm a gluten for punishment, gunner, total basis, fantasy, run, whichever one you like. I'm betting on a home run. He did go over fantasy points for us, right? The first time we played him. And then yesterday, did he not go over total bases? I feel like, if I'm not mistaken, I feel like the entire Baltimore team ate yesterday. 10-4. Yeah, 2 hits, 1 RBI, 2 runs scored, a walk, and he had a triple. So he had 19 fantasy points. The only thing he's not doing is hitting a home run. So, I mean, like we talked about yesterday, his total bases were in play, I think, in his fantasy score. But we can go back to him and take a look at this matchup today. It is the first game on one of the earlier games today at 5:40, but it's not a super early afternoon game. Ben Lively pitching for the Guardians. So let's check that out. Let's pull up PrizePicks. We'll take a look at Gunnar and what's available. So hitter fantasy score, total bases, runs, and doubles. They keep leading off his home run. Let's take a look at the matchup with him and Lively, and then we'll see which one of these props makes the best option. So we'll head over to props.cash, start pulling up some numbers. I don't think there's a blog this morning. I don't know if the blog has been released. No, it has not. So this game is in Cleveland. So road game for the Orioles. Ben Lively today on the mound for the Guardians, pitching at home. Over his last 5 starts, he has gone over strikeouts in 2. In his last 10, he's gone over 5 games. Games he's going over, he's getting 6 or more in almost all these games. Head-to-head, no head-to-head to look at. So nothing there to break down. We'll go back to his home split. Projected for 4.55 strikeouts today. Ben Lively versus the Orioles. Although his odds of -160 maybe paint a different picture. Maybe he's looking closer to 4. In terms of earned runs, he's projected to give up roughly 3, and his odds are headed towards 3 as well. And then his pitching out. So this doesn't feel like a strong quality start for him. If he's able to get you 16 outs, strike out 4 batters, that's 28 fantasy points. And in the event he gives up 9 or 3 earned runs, that's -9. So he's only looking at 19 to 20 fantasy points, give or take. Unless he goes out there and pitches a complete game shutout, which is happening so much in the MLB. Makes me feel like this shit is rigged a little bit. I mean, have we ever seen this many complete game shutouts? Logan Webb, Dylan Cease. It's crazy. Framber Valdez strikes out 11 batters yesterday. Like, what the hell is that, man? We talked about that. Unless he has another one of these games, we'd like the under on his fantasy score. Because pitcher fantasy score props are really hard to nail down. But we're looking at the matchup today for Gunnar Henderson versus Ben Lively. Oh, Joe Noel. That name stands out to me because when I play MLB The Show, he's always in like the minor league system. And we always like come up together. All right, Gunnar Henderson, -250 to go over hits. We're not looking at that. We're trying to figure out if his fantasy points or his total bases make more sense. Hits, runs, and RBIs look strong. -160 to go over this one. Probably not going to be able to play that on PrizePicks, but this should go over towards fantasy. If he's projected to give you 3 hits, runs, and RBIs, fantasy score should be in play. Total bases, the odds really don't support this. The odds really don't support this one. However, over his last 5 games, he's only been able to get this done 1 time. Home run prop, 450 minus 650. So let's do some math here. 2.2 hits, runs, and RBIs, a single, and a run. That's only 2. However, his hits, runs, and RBIs at minus 160. I mean, he's averaging 3 in his last 5, 2 in his last 10 versus the Cleveland Guardians in 10 games. This is pretty relevant too. It's just this season and last season. There is no 5 years ago in this chart. And he's averaging 3 against this team. His matchup today with Ben Lively, there is no matchup to look at because they don't have any history. So this will be the first time they face each other. Normally, you give the upper hand to the pitcher in those situations. In fact, this will be the first time. Is that correct? Ben Lively has never faced this team. Against righties, Gunnar rakes, 298 batting average. That's not a terrible strikeout percentage against righties, 20%. It is one of the higher marks on the team, but not the highest. 10% walk rate is pretty strong. 298 against righties, 22 homers, 15 doubles, 2 triples, and 49 singles. Lively versus lefty. This is a lefty-righty matchup. Lively has really suppressed batting average, but his power is almost identical against lefties as it is to righties. So 7 homers compared to 9, 5 doubles compared to 10, 1 triple compared to 2. So it feels like he's getting a lot of these guys to ground out or, fly out or strike them out. But the guys that are making contact are doing damage. The fact that he's not projected for a high amount of strikeouts, he's not projected to go deep into the game, and he's projected to also give up 3 earned runs. It might be worth taking another shot on Gunnar Henderson. Looking at what PrizePicks is offering, I mean, out of these plays, I think the fantasy score is in play just because it incorporates everything. It's very possible for Gunnar to go over hits, runs, and RBIs, but not go over total bases, right? He can get you a single. He can score a run. He can get walked. He can get on base, score another run, and the fantasy points just start building up, and he did it all by getting 1 hit. So total bases doesn't always equal hit or fantasy score. I think hits, runs, and RBI does equal hit or fantasy score. Or it gets you really close, right? You hit a single, that's 3 points. You score a run, you drive in an RBI, that's a total of 7. You happen to hit a double instead of a single, that's 9 fantasy points. You happen to hit a home run, it's over. So fantasy points are in play. All right, so we just kind of broke down a few different player props for Gunnar Henderson. His matchup with Ben Lively doesn't really present a ton of value because there is no sample size. But Lively's props indicate that he's not in for a real strong game. Low strikeouts, low innings pitch, and 3 earned runs. Charlie Morton and Max Meyer over 10 strikeouts. This one is getting support because Morton is projected to go over strikeouts at 5.5. So if Morton is projected to get 60% of that line between those 2 pitchers, then it could mean that the combo is also in play. So if we take a look at Morton's numbers over his last 6 games versus the Marlins, he's gone over strikeouts in 3 of those games. He hasn't gotten you any less than 5. Now, in his last 5 games, he struggled a little bit to get that mark. Only 1 in his last 5. The good news is Miami is striking out at 23% rates of right-handed pitchers. In terms of BVP, there aren't a ton of bats in this lineup that have faced Charlie Morton, and those who have not done well. Sanchez, in 20 plate appearances, that's a strong sample size. He hasn't even hit the Mendoza line Rivera 0 for 5, Gordon 0 for 2, Berger 0 for 2, and then you got 3-4 batters in there who have never faced Morton. And we say we always like to give the pitcher the upper hand when he's facing a team for the first time. So it could be worth looking into in terms of fantasy points, but minus 165 to go under 2.5 earned runs. So if he keeps the earned runs under 3, he only gives up 2. He goes out there and strikes out 6 batters. That's 18. Minus the 2 earned runs he gave up, that's 12. And then he pitches 6 innings. 12 plus 18 is 30. Then you get the quality start bonus, that's 34. If the Braves can put up some runs today, he's in line for the win, and that's 40 fantasy points. So Charlie Morton has 40 fantasy point upside. But if you want to play the over on his strikeouts, you can. In combo with Max Meyer, if Morton gets you 6 strikeouts and Meyer can get you 4, that's a push. We do need Max Meyer to give up 5 strikeouts, or to get us 5 strikeouts. The projections don't look strong, but the odds are slightly in favor of the over on 6 different books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books like the over on this one. So over on PrizePicks, man, I am not seeing that that combo. There it is. No, that's not it. So they don't have it. They don't even have the tab up. They don't even have the combo strikeout prop tab up on PrizePicks. So let's go over on Charlie Morton. You can also look to take the over on his fantasy score. He's not getting over fantasy score without getting you 6 strikeouts. I mean, he'd have to go 9 innings. That's 27 outs, 5 strikeouts. That's 15. That's over 40. He gives up 2 earned runs. Yeah. I mean, again, we're trying to keep the scenarios logical. So 5.5 strikeouts for Charlie Morton. He gets you 6. He's well on his way to going over fantasy score, if you want to put that in, because we can't play that combo prop. That is looking a lot better now that we broke it down and kind of looked at the numbers. Don't know why it's still showing on the optimizer when it's not available on PrizePicks. So the next play we can look at is this shy over first 2 map kills, although it is not a multiple data point prop. Patty Mills over 2.5 assists. Franz over 5.5 rebounds. I think as the day goes on, a lot of these Olympic basketball plays will gain momentum, and at some point they'll be considered a plus EV play. Right now, there are only three books taking action on this. So the more books that take action on something, the more momentum it gains. So sometimes I look at these plays as an early start. Even though it's red now, in an hour or 2, it could be a green square and you already got it in your slip. The only way this would actually lose momentum is if the line got bumped, then it would fall back. So I don't anticipate these falling back. So we actually put these in a slip and try to lock in value and avoid any bumps. So Franz over 5.5 rebounds, and then Patty Mills over 2.5 assists. Patty Mills over 2.5 assists, Franz over 5.5 rebounds. All right, let's see here. Patty Mills over 2.5 assists. and Franz over his rebound. So that's a 4 pick right there. We need 2 other plays to get us to 6, and then we need just 1 more play to make it a 5-man. I don't think that play is open anymore. Y'all, we could put this Davis Mills in here under 97.5 passing yards. Preseason's so pointless. Is preseason 3 weeks or 4 weeks? Jock Landale under 8.5 rebounds. 1, 2, 3, 4 data points. What's this one? Ryan Feltner under 5 strikeouts. Nah. I don't like that. Guy Santos over 8.5 points. Can't play this Jake Berger in the same line or in the same slip because it has Charlie Morton in that slip. Davis Mills is starting to creep up a little bit on this optimizer. This shit's gross. This shit is gross. Let's sometimes if the value is not on the fantasy optimizer, I like to go see what the middles are and then pull up what other, this is a great way to see what other books have a line, and then you can just kind of compare all in one snapshot and then see if it's worth playing it on PrizePicks. It may not have a lot of support in terms of books taking action on it, but it does tell you what what that discrepancy is. So, playing the under Patty Mills points, you play the over on underdog, you play the under on PrizePicks, play the over on parlay play. If this square is not green, that means they're the same line. So we're looking for green squares. There's the Davis Mills play that you can look to middle. You could possibly look to middle this Fame over 27.5 first 2 map kills. You can also look to take the under on underdog. So he would need to finish with 28. It's a very thin discrepancy. I like him a little bit. I like to be a little bit more. There's a strong discrepancy here. I mean, it is MMA. It is significant strikes. You're always going to see these large gaps in pick'em sites on UFC plays. And then the rest of these are really not considered profitable plays. All right. If we wanted to go with an EV, I mean, we can definitely put this Elvis Brenner under takedowns. It's just 1 data point. It's not a lot of support on this one. Ozuna over 0.5 home runs. I don't know if I want to put that in this slip, but let's look at what his actual projections are, and maybe we can find something that looks good on Props.Cash. Appreciate y'all being here. Hit that like button. Don't forget to hit the like button. Means a ton. All right. So we got Ozuna pulled up on props.cash. We have Ozuna pulled up on PrizePicks. So over on PrizePicks, we got a lot of lines. Only 2 of them are normal or regular lines at 7.5 fantasy score and 1.5 total bases. But he has a demon home run, RBI, doubles, hits, walks, and hits, runs, and RBIs. So starting off with total bases and then fantasy score, and then we can kind of figure out what's in play. 120 to go over, minus 110 to go under. Those aren't the best odds, but it just really tells me that no book really knows what to do with this. If you're getting even splits on DraftKings, Caesars, and Pinnacle, BetMGM is the only one that's giving you actual differences. It just shows that it's just kind of stuck in the middle. So he'd need a double to get over on this one, or he'd need 2 hits, right? I mean, that's the clearest path. He has not gotten you multiple hits in a game since his matchup with the Mets. And then prior to that, you have to go back to his game against the Reds. Doubles, even less likely. He hasn't hit a double in the last 10 games. So I don't know if we want to go with a double as a demon play. Maybe total bases isn't the way to go. If we look at his breakdown here, 2.75 hits, runs, and RBIs, basically 3. That's 2, that's 4, that's 3, that's 7. His fantasy score is 7.5. So he would need to get you 8. Numbers against Max Meyer, he did have 3 plate appearances. He has just 1 hit in 3 plate appearances, and it was for an RBI single. So that gets you 2 hits, runs, and RBIs, but it only gets you 1 total base. Numbers against righties on the year, he's batting .290 with 26 homers. Much better average against lefties, but much lower plate appearances, so that'll always drive the average up. Mayer versus righties, 262 batting average, just 44 plate appearances, 2 homers and 3 doubles. This is a tough one because we don't have a lot of information to go on. In his last 5 games, he's gone over this line in 3 out of 5. In his last 10, he's gone over 5 out of 10. In the games that he's going over this line of 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, he's getting you 3. Today, his hits, runs, and RBIs is a demon. That's not an increased line. That's just his normal line. But because he's hitting this line so often, PrizePicks is going to make sure that, you know, they're going to make it. Well, actually, no. The odds are not in favor, which is why this is a demon. But because he is hitting lines so often, I wouldn't be opposed to playing this one. Even though the odds aren't in favor of the over on this one, the game logs look good. His home run odds today, they are plus 250, minus 370 to go over, 2 in his last 5, 3 in his last 10. Man, I really wish I could pull up this this home run chart on the props.cash mobile app. You can see the spray chart in terms of where a hitter is basically hitting his home runs, like what part of the field, and then how that wind's blowing. So this game is in Atlanta today. The wind is blowing out into the northwest, like this way. And that's where he's hitting the majority of his home runs. So the wind is kind of pushing the ball that direction, it looks like, and he's hitting, I mean, 36% of his home runs are like in that direction. So you could look to play the over on his home run prop, but obviously if you want to go a safer way, you can look at the over on his fantasy score, because if he hits a home run, he goes over fantasy score, but he can still manufacture 8 to 9 fantasy points today. Or walks in his last 10 games. Stolen base, he's not much of a base stealer. There's your run score today. There's an RBI, that's 4. He's going to have to get multiple hits, or he's going to have to get an extra base hit to go over fantasy score. All right, so far what we actually do have 5 players up. I thought we only had 4. So Gunnar over, Morton over, Mills over, Franz over, Mills under, Davis and Patty. Patty Mills over, Davis Mills under. That's a 5 pick right here. We do need one more play to make this a 6. Feel free to run this as a 5. If you want to run it as a 5, just copy what's on the screen. I'm trying to find one more play that we can make a 6 pick from. If we're not able to do that, we'll just submit it as a 5 pick. It's not going to come with as much upside, but it is locking in some pretty decent value. Ben Lively is projected, or it does have an earned runs line of 2.5. So that does complement the Gunnar Henderson play. So that should make you feel good about taking some overs for the Orioles. Jackson Holiday under his. We got Franz in there. Man, we may just have to run this as a 5. It's just really not a lot, to be honest, that I like. We still got to make an underdog play, so I need to figure this out. Adley Rushman. Lorenzo Brown. There's nothing. Oh. Syerson under 9.5 first 2 match shot, 2 data points there. We may just have a 6 pick here. Listen, this isn't the most plus EV slip around, but it does offer us some decent value. And it's pretty diverse. We got Olympic basketball, we got preseason NFL, we got esports, and we have Major League Baseball in here. We got a mixture of unders and overs. We got 4 overs and 2 unders. If you tell that slip, there's the link in the chat. Just copy and paste it into your tab, your window. What search engine do you use? Does anybody use Bing? All right, let's take a look at underdog and get a slip in here. Maybe we should have built a slip on underdog first, but that I don't know if some of that value will be available on PrizePicks the way shit looks over there. So just wanted to get that one out the way. All right, so lots of green squares here. We're gonna scroll down until we see one with some with multiple data points. Coach's Papa Nicolau. We already looked at his under points and rebounds. We could start with that one. Victor Wembanyama under 24 points and assists. Man, he hasn't gotten 20 points yet in these games. I think that's true. At least not in the last 2 games. He hasn't gotten 20. So if he were to go over this 24.5 points and assists, and if he were to just only get you 18 points again, 19 points, that means he needs 6 assists to go over that. It's a lot of assists, man. A lot of assists. All right, we got Kostas, we got Victor Wembanyama. So right off the bat, this slip is not going to finalize until tomorrow. So if you're not cool with that, then just don't play Olympic basketball because you'll have to wait these out. It is a little frustrating to have to wait. I know by nature we're human. By nature we're impatient as humans, but if you're just looking to play the most profitable slips, you just got to play the best slips. It doesn't matter if they're playing today or tomorrow. It shouldn't matter. Would you care if this slip hit for a 25x? Who gives a shit if you have to wait till Saturday? Daniel Tice under 16.5 points and rebounds. Keep scrolling. You got some esports plays here that are popping. We got Plopsky over first 2 map headshots. And then we have this Belchonic. That's a 3 data point play right there. Those are not very common in esports. So when I see those, I really like to put those in a slip, lock those up. All right, so that gives us 5 plays, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just 4 plays. Okay. So we need 2 more plays. Keep scrolling. We got this one down here. This is a Breanna Stewart over 17.5 points. Let's go ahead and throw her in this slip. That gives us 5, and those 5 plays give us a 4.88% chance to hit. We need 1 more. We have Yuki under points. This is multiple data points: 12, 11.5, 12.5, 13.5 over on DraftKings. And then you have Matt Vierling over 6.5 batter or hitter fantasy. We got to make a choice here: Yuki or Matt Vierling. I'm used to taking the under on Matt Vierling, to be honest with you. But I want to follow the data, because I believe that when you follow the data often enough, it'll just lead you to money. So basically, you're just following the money. Matt Vierling. All right, so over 6.5 hitter fantasy score. Matchup today with Seth Lugo, two singles and an RBI. Numbers over his last 5 games. He's gone over. That's not what we want to look at. We want to look at total bases. So over his last 5 games, 2. Over his last 10, 5. Hit, runs, and RBIs. 4 out of his last 10. 1 out of his last 5. 2 books here, DraftKings and BetMGM, are giving you -140 odds for the over. The projections do not line up. They just don't look good. We already know what his BVP is, and against right-handed pitching in general, nothing too crazy. Against righties on the year, 11 homers, 14 doubles. Those are your big ones. 6 triples. Seth Lugo on the year versus right-handed bats, allowing just a 207 batting average with 8 homers and 10 doubles. It's possible for Seth Lugo to have a strong game and Matt Vierling go over fantasy points. It's not uncommon to see that, but I don't really like what I'm seeing for that dude to go over his fantasy score. There isn't a whole lot to like. Seth Lugo just keeps defying the odds every fucking game. He's under on all his shit, and he just goes out there and puts up 40 fantasy points. I don't know what's going on with that dude. The guy pitches deep in the games. I mean, these are crazy, but 6 innings is the new 7, 8 innings from years ago. Pitchers were going 7, 8, 9 innings sometimes. Today's version of that is 6+. So he's doing that. For the most part, he keeps the earned runs down. He's never been a high strikeout pitcher, but again, he's defying those odds this year. I don't know about that Matt Vierling one. I'm not really feeling that. So I guess we'll go with this Yuki under 13 points to round out our 6 pick on underdog. If we add the Yuki under 13 points, that gives us a 2.62 chance to hit a 9% plus EV slip on underdog. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one in. All right, so we have Costas under his points and rebounds of 13. We got Victor under, it was weird calling him Victor. We have Wembanyama under points and assists. We got Breonna Stewart over 17.5 points. We have Yuki under 13 points. Belchanak under first 2 map kills. I think that was at 31. 31.5. Okay, cool. And then Plopsky over 15 first 2 map headshots. All right. So altogether we have 2 overs, 4 unders. Not that it matters, but I just like always recognizing the split there. All right. That slip is built. Just built that up on my phone. And let's share that link. And let's see if the process is more efficient than yesterday. It may just take a little while for that link to generate, so I'll buy some time. Let's see if anything's changing on PrizePicks, and then we can look up this. How are you, Rosalie? We can look up Rivera under hits, runs, and RBIs. I may have to plug my laptop directly into my router. I think that is an issue. I don't understand why I have to do that. It's like 5 feet away. But I heard that helps with the speed of everything. Did it not save the link? Oh, man. All right. Emmanuel Rivera Miami versus Atlanta. So we looked at Ozuna. We looked at Morton from this game. We'll take a look at Rivera on the other side. Hits, runs, and RBIs. Under 1.5. He's gone over this in 2 of his last 5, 2 of his last 10. He has 2 books that are given the under at -135, DraftKings and BetMGM, and in projections, not projected to do much, to be honest. His matchup with Charlie Morton presents a struggle bus, 0 for 5 in 5 plate appearances. And in those 5 plate appearances, he has a 40% strikeout rate. So what is that, 2? 2 out of 5 plate appearances, he struck out. He does have 2 walks, or he does have 1 walk. And then the other at bats, he's just, grounded out or flied out, whatever. Numbers against right-handed pitching on the season: batting .203, no power numbers to speak of, and then Morton versus right-handed bats, allowing some power. I mean, if he does allow some power today, it will more than likely be from power hitters. I don't know if we can consider Emmanuel Rivera a power hitter. So you might be safe going with some unders on this guy. Total bases is a demon play. It's only going to let you take the over on it, but his hits, runs, and RBIs is a regular line, so you could definitely take the under on that one. So that one's in play. There's the underdog link in the chat right there. So we've built out 2 slips on underdog using the OddsJam Fantasy Optimizer. What's up, Mark? Mark said, fantastic day yesterday, up 15 units. Olympic golf was so free this morning. Oh, man, I need to look into the Olympic golf. Nice. Ooh, that bug flew right into my eye. All right. Mark, we built out 2 slips, 2 links in the chat. Feel free to copy and paste them. 1 underdog, 1 PrizePicks. We're going to take another last look at some value on OddsJam. Let's look at other pick'em sites. We spent the majority of this stream on underdog and PrizePicks. Talk about BETR. BETR's real hard right now just because they're down to 1 sport. BETR has yet to post NBA players. At least when I started playing BETR, they didn't have. I don't think they had. Yes, they did. They had NBA players. But there's no esports on BETR, and no tennis plays on BETR, and so most days you're down to baseball. So it's a little harder finding value on BETR with just baseball being the only sport. But when BETR is popping on all sports, there's a lot of value. There's a lot more promos. So I've kind of taken my foot off the gas with BETR. Now you can still sign up on BETR with my code and get that deposit match up to 250 and just sit tight, just hold off. And then when more sports become available, or as preseason begins to churn out more plays and you have your account already set up, you can do that. Ben Lively over 2.5 earned runs. We just talked about Baltimore bats, specifically Gunner, and this is the second pick'em site we've seen the over on Ben Lively. I think the first one was on Underdog, and now we're seeing him on PrizePicks or on BETR. Over 2.5 earned runs. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 data points. I like this one. The next play with multiple data points. These next 3. Wow, these next 4. So Dansby Swanson under hits, runs, and RBIs. Andres Jimenez under hits, runs, RBIs. There's Rivera. So Rivera is not popping on a couple of the other pick'em sites, but Emmanuel Rivera on BETR under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Literally just broke it down on props.cash, and now we're getting the support on 5 different books, so that should make you feel good if you're looking to take the over there. Nice correlation here. You can't play these in the same lineup, but here we are again. I think PrizePicks has it at 5.5. We've already put Charlie Morton in a slip over strikeouts. You got Manuel Rivera going under hits, runs, and RBIs, which only helps Charlie Morton and his strikeouts. So these two correlate. You got to play them in different slips. Anthony Santander over hits, runs, and RBIs. That correlates really well with Gunnar Henderson, and that also correlates really well with taking the over Ben Lively earned runs. Now you're seeing multiple Baltimore Oriole bats being juiced to the over. Charlie Morton again on his pitching out. So we talked about his fantasy points earlier. So when you combine pitching outs, 18, 6 strikeouts, 18, that's 36. Quality start, that's 40. Minus 2 earned runs, that's 34. I think his fantasy score on PrizePicks is 33. Jake Berger under 1.5 bases. That correlates really well with Charlie Morton's numbers. And then over 2.5 earned runs for Max Meyer. Now this one's a little deeper down in the scroll, but you do have 3, 6, 8 books that are taking action on this one. Now, it doesn't really correlate with Charlie Morton or anybody, but if you took the over Ozuna anything, especially home runs, it's possible that one of those earned runs comes from a home run, and it's possible that Ozuna hits a home run. So there are many ways you can correlate these plays in different slips. But the more research you do, the more you know, and the better you can build slips based off those player props. I don't like to dig too far. There's Ozuna over 0.5 runs. If he hits a home run, he scores a run. So there's another way to correlate. There's a lot of correlation here. You just got to dig a little bit. So there's a lot of value there on BETR. I'm surprised that preseason is not on BETR yet. Damn, that Ben Lively play went from a yellow to a green square real fast. So you got 2 strong quality plays over on BETR. You can literally throw those 2 in a 2-pick if you want. Ben Lively over 2.5 earned runs. Cody Bellinger over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Maybe that Rivera under hits, runs, and RBIs. Since we already broke that down, that would be a 3-pick. I mean, it could be a nice little 3-pick for you over on BETR. I suggest you play 5 picks on BETR, but 3 picks could work. It's only 5x on BETR. So there's a 3-pick right there. 16% chance to hit. Definitely not a plus EV play. I'm sure, like, let's just scroll through here. Let's go Santander over his hits, run, and RBIs. We can't play another Oriole in this lineup unless we take the under on one of their bats. And that doesn't really correlate that well with him. Let's see. Man, they're expecting some fireworks in this St. Louis-Chicago game. And you got two Cardinals here with the overs on hits, runs, and RBIs. And we already saw Bellinger over his fantasy score, or no, his hits, runs, and RBIs also. Olsen under runs. There's Berger. Do we have Morton in this slip? No. But we have Rivera in this, so it won't let us play the under on Rivera and Berger since those kind of correlate. So we just got to keep scrolling. So you could do this. You could go Max Meyer in there over 2.5 earned runs. And so what that's going to do is going to create a 6-pick for you. It's only a 4.5% chance to hit. It is definitely not a plus EV play because The green squares just aren't available on PrizePicks, but if you want to roll this, all of these plays are available on BETR, and all of them have tons of data points. So Cody Bellinger over hits, runs, and RBIs, Rivera under hits, runs, and RBIs, Ben Lively over earned runs allowed. And actually, no, we can't do that. So we cannot play Santander in this lineup because he's facing Ben Lively. So we gotta take him out, unfortunately. Can't put Ramirez in there because or can we? Yeah, we could put Ramirez in here. We can put Ramirez in here. So take out Santander, put in Ramirez, and now you have a 5 pick that you can roll out. 4.5% chance to hit. Rivera under, Bellinger over, Lively over, Meyer over, and Ramirez under runs scored. That's a good little 5 pick for you over on BETR. Let me move my my square down. Morton taking off PrizePicks, only have Goblin and Demon 4.5, 6.5. Yep. Morton was up there for a while. I didn't think it was that great of a play where they're going to take stuff off, but I mean, as we're breaking this down and looking at all the value, it looks good. I think Xavier's Goblins for hits, runs, and RBIs is safer than his fantasy. It's a trap. Can I put Emmanuel and Xavier on the same lineup? Damn, did they already nerf his they nerfed it? No, okay. I think Xavier's Goblin for hits, runs, and RBIs is safer than his fantasy. It's a trap. I thought you were talking about Rivera at first. I was so confused. Okay. So if you're going under on Rivera, the best way to find out if you can correlate on PrizePicks is to just make the slip, but don't submit it. So let's take the under on Xavier's fantasy score, and we take the under on Rivera. So those do correlate, especially if they're batting close enough in the batting order, because you're basically ruling out the possibility of them helping each other out if you're taking the unders, right? So on a typical 2-pick, your payout will be 3x, right? But because these are on the same team and you're going under, your payouts reduced to 2.75. If we took the over on one of these plays, you would see your payout change. So this is your typical payout, 3x. So that's how you know if you can correlate, or that's how you know if your correlation is going to actually help you make more money, because it doesn't really make sense to correlate it and lose money on the payout. There's no need for that. You can play them in different slips, but in terms of the same slip, PrizePicks is not going to let you do that. Because then at that point, what you could do is just take unders on Marlins and take over on Charlie Morton's strikeouts and kind of build out a slip based off that. That's way too easy. So you're not able to do that. If you went over on both of these, just to see what it looks like, it's still 2.75. So the only way you can correlate is if you go over one, under the other. A way you can counter this, Rosalie, if you wanted to play these two in the same lineup, like let's say we're going unders on both of these dudes. Damn, man, that bug is all up in my personal space. So the one thing you can do is try to balance it off with a demon play. So, all right, if we like the over on Ozuna's home run line, a typical 3x or a typical 3-pick would result in a 5x. But because you're playing this home run line, it does boost your payout to 8.5. It's really risky, and you are depending on this home run to hit. But that's one way you can balance off the reduced payout. If you wanted to be safe and go just with a flex, your payout is a 4.5. So again, you're losing money on this because you could be getting a 5x or more. So, but if you find yourself trying to like build these slips out and there's like way too many steps, it's probably best to just start over or make multiple slips. Because what you could do is you could play the over on Ozuna and the under on Rivera, and that's a 5.2, right? And then in another slip, play the under on Xavier or whatever in another play. You got to build multiple slips out. But if you want to know if you can correlate, just build a slip before, like build a slip, don't submit it, and look at the payouts, because the payouts is going to tell you what's best. And that's how I learn. And then in terms of just understanding the payout system, PrizePicks does have a like in one of these tabs, it's either how to play or help center. It'll show you what the breakdowns are. So that way, if you know a payout on a two pick is a 3x, anytime you see less than a 3x on a 2-pick, you know it's below value. So you need to just understand what the payouts are. And then once you see your slips, you can understand if you're getting more or less. Let's see. All right. The best correlation is, well, the best correlation used to be NFL correlation, because you could go quarterback combo with receiver. And I don't know if PrizePicks has put a reduced payout on that, but the next best correlation is to go like over quarterback passing yards, under running back rushing yards, because if a quarterback's having a pass happy day, they're obviously reducing the rush attempts. So receiving yards for a receiver over, rushing yards for a running back under, that's another way to do it. But it's getting harder and harder to correlate because these pick'em sites are getting smarter and smarter, and they're limiting the ways you can make your money. So you have to start playing multiple slips, which is what they want you to do. They want you to put as many slips in there as possible. Well, they want you to put as many bad slips in as possible. But if you're doing your research and you have a strong strategy, you'll make your money. So it actually benefits you to play multiple slips. So nothing's really changed on PrizePicks for the optimizer here. This Elvis Brenner play remains at the top, over under 3 takedowns. And then you have Shy over 29, but this is just one data point. Rivera is popping up on this bitch. He's on BETR and PrizePicks now. And then see, you have the under on both of these dudes. We literally just guessed. I just threw Xavier Edwards in there as an example, but he's actually projected to go under on his hitting fantasy score. You're gonna have to balance this out across 2 slips. On BETR, Xavier Edwards has a 7.5 fantasy point prop on BETR. We already know that Rivera's up there for the under on his hits, runs, and RBIs. On BETR, what happened here? I believe the BETR fantasy breakdown, the BETR fantasy scoring system is identical to PrizePicks. So you don't get anything taken away from you. It's all addition. So what I was going to try to do, but this shit's taking too long, is basically see if we can do the over on Edwards fantasy score and then the under on Rivera. You can't just run those 2 in a slip. You need at least 2 teams. So you'd have to play another play on BETR. So if we went with, who was it? Ben Lively over his earned runs, or Gunnar Henderson. So Gunnar Henderson has an 8.5 fantasy point prop on BETR. Let's just go with that one. So that 3 pick, you can put in a slip. It is a 5X if you just go with their version of a power play. That's how you could correlate 1 over, 1 under, 2 players from the same team, but you got to have at least 1 other player from a different team in order for it to go through. So you could correlate it like that. I'm suggesting you do that on BETR because the fantasy score for Edwards is lower versus the 8 that you're seeing on PrizePicks. So at 7.5, he can get you 8 fantasy points and go over. But on PrizePicks, if he gets you 8, it's a push, and then that play gets removed. So I would suggest if you want to go over on Edwards, I would look on BETR fantasy because some of their lines are lower. All right, nothing on PrizePicks. We're getting ready to jump on out of here. Lady and gentlemen, I always say ladies and gentlemen. We got lady and gentlemen in the chat today. We'll take one more look over on Underdog, and then that should do it. So Victor Wembanyama remains at the top of the fantasy optimizer over on Underdog, and it is his points and rebounds, but you're only getting 1 data point. We'll move back. We'll move down, I should say. A lot of these esports plays are just 1 data point. You're not going to find a lot of value in those because you don't really know what the line should be. If you only have 1 book giving you a line, it could be anything, you know? The more data points you have, the more you see where that line should be set. And then you just basically find the one that doesn't belong and you play that one. You play the over or the under on that one. All right, so for instance, this play for Zevi over 10.5, first 2 map headshots. Underdog has this at 10.5, while PrizePicks and Parlay Play have this set, or PrizePicks and HOTSTREAK has this set to 11.5. So this is where the market is telling you the line should be here, and Underdog has it set to 10.5. So Underdog has it set way too low. So you take the over on that one. You just find one that's different and you play that one. If these were 12.5, then I would say you middle it. You play the under 12.5 on PrizePicks, then you would play the over on underdog. But at a 1 point discrepancy is really tight. I mean, you're asking that shit to land right on 11. It's a very, very thin margin. Typically, when you middle, you want to have more than two point separation. Those are the best ones. If you can find the middles on the taco promos or croissant promos, those are the good ones to take because those lines are so different. Josh Hawkinson, under points and rebounds. You get 2 data points on this one, FanDuel and BetMGM. Again, a lot more value on underdog. Way more plays available to you on underdog. More opportunities to build slips. More opportunities to win. Look at all this shit. So many plays available. It's ridiculous. What's up, Travis? You got any player props to throw in the chat before we jump out, man? We did build 2 slips. Scroll through the chat. We built a PrizePicks and underdog slip. Hopefully those plays are still available. If not, then I'm sure more value will open up later today. One more place we can look is the sports betting tab. Oh shit. The sports betting tab will have different plays that are considered sports bets, not player props, but every once in a while we can find some underdog and PrizePicks value. And you can add those to a slip. If you're looking for one more play or 2 more plays, you may be able to find them with this search. So the only PrizePicks play that we have up on the board for under the sports betting tab is this over 9.5 first set total games for Stefanos and Djokovic. So if you head on over to PrizePicks and look at the tennis live tab, it's this one right here. So then you would take the over on that one. If you wanted to build a 3-pick with the Rivera play and the Ozuna homer, and we're going to throw this first set prop in here, you want to go power on this one. It's a 9.5x. I couldn't see those fucking numbers. That's a 9.5x. If you went with a flex, it doesn't really make any sense because you're getting way less payout. It doesn't make any sense. So whatever you already have up for PrizePicks, you can add in this this Djokovic and Stefanos over 9.5 first set total games. Maybe even just double down on it and play the second set total games if you've done your tennis research. But we know for a fact that this one is grading out as a plus EV play. All right. Appreciate y'all being here, ladies and gentlemen. 2 slips we built out, 1 PrizePicks, 1 underdog. I've built out also in the Discord this morning. I built out an additional 2 slips, 1 on PrizePicks, 1 on underdog. I've given out 1, 2, 3, 6 plays across PrizePicks, dabble, better, and underdog. We built out 2 slips on the live stream, so that's a total of 4 slips. It's like 50 plays total. So a lot of slips, a lot of plays were given out today. We are so close. We are so close to NFL regular season, but take advantage of the NFL preseason while you can. And before you know it, we'll have the full gauntlet of sports available to us. But right now we're hanging on by a thread with MLB and esports. So that's going to be it. Appreciate y'all being here. Hit the like button, sub up, click that notification icon. Make sure you are updated on all upcoming content. I will be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Time. Make sure that notification icon is set so that you don't miss out. YouTube short coming out this afternoon. So if you need value plays in the afternoon, I'll have 3 of them for you. You can use those and throw those in a slip. Hopefully they help you win some money. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. sharp here on the channel. Appreciate y'all being here once again. And until tomorrow's Player Prop Talk live stream, Chavez is out.